Hey everybody, welcome to BrickVault. Today is another LEGO Top 10 MOCs of the Week episode. Basically, I show you guys the 10 coolest custom creations I happen to see people building in LEGO throughout the week, and I talk about them. Pretty simple. It's all opinion based, and the models that you see flashing by the screen right now are extras. There's a bunch linked in the description below, lots more than just 10. And before I jump into the MOCs, let me just say that the custom creation that was built in our web store is actually an update to the Gigahorse from Nikola. At first glance, you might not see too many differences, but actually so many things have changed on it. The details from just about every angle are different for the most part, and it's much more structurally sound. Check out our web store, www.brickvault.toys, if you'd like to know more. It's all linked in the description below, including the links to the builders that we show in this episode today. So speaking of which, let's jump into the very first one. I wanted to talk about this early because this is actually an ideas set that I feel like deserves a little bit of support. So once again, that's the top link in this video. But what we have here is an amazing design for the Planet Express delivery ship from the same exact designer that I just mentioned, who updated his Gigahorse. Nikola has had this design as well as other scaled versions of this ship in his Flickr feed for quite a long time. He's been tweaking it. It looks amazing. I'm not entirely sure if all of these pieces exist in sand green. I have a feeling almost every single one of them probably does, but regardless, we're looking at I don't know if it's a fig scale ship. It's really hard to tell. My guess is that it's play scale a little bit underneath, but we have the amazingly designed Planet Express from Futurama sitting on a really clean looking display pad. The proportions and shapes look amazing. It's hard to get a nice seamless looking curve to move from the front and back of the top of the ship there. That rocket shape really just isn't easy to pull off at this size in LEGO while also having an interior, and those three fins in the back just have such a wonderful animated shape. It really adds to the cartoony effect. If you guys think this is worth supporting, once again, top of the description, link to this ideas set, and let's move on. This is such a throwback for me. By Kale Frost, we have the Timberwolf. So if you were a fan of Battletech or Mech Warrior back a very long time ago, I want to say late 80s, early 90s, and then it spanned throughout a bit of the 90s and then sort of teetered off. These were the first really big, really cool, giant battling robots, at least in the West. The Timberwolf and also like the Mad Cat. This is a really recognizable and unique design that belongs within this particular robot battling universe. You got those big missile pods on the top, and the cone face is absolutely genius, using the Millennium Falcon cockpit with the rounded over brick to really smooth out the nose. That is by far the coolest bit, and I wouldn't mind seeing a custom sticker put on underneath the cockpit, maybe showing off a mouth with jagged teeth. This is a really fun one for me here in the studio, and I hope you guys like this build too. Let's move on to the C-Wing by Dave Catella. He's been doing literal alphabet fighters for quite a long time now, some of which are kind of funny letter-shaped spaceships, while other ones, like the C-Wing here, actually kind of look like sci-fi ships that could possibly exist within some weird fantasy universe. I can see a little bit of flexi-tube here and there, but I don't think that's the primary connection making the actual archway of the C-Wing, and I like that the cockpit in the center can also pivot. It makes for an interesting dynamic when it comes to flight and capabilities when you think about it. And out of all the alphabet fighters that I see here, this is probably in my top 3, top 5, something like that. Remember to check out all the links in the description below. And here from Lego Maniac, that's a great name, we've got the Sword Box from Zelda. This person made a very interesting video kind of showing off all of its features, and holy guacamole, that is quite an interesting puzzle box. I recommend watching the full video just to get an idea of what it actually takes to take the Master Sword out of the ground here, and just watching the whole process made me almost get a minor panic attack as to how complex the inside must be and how difficult it must have been to build and design. Even if you're not a fan of Zelda, I think you should check this one out just by the sheer effort and time that must have gone into the creation of this. And then let's go real simple. I've had speeders on my mind a lot this last week, more so than average really. And from Jeremy Lee, we have the Incarcerator's Repulsor Bike and Trapper Sled. It's a little bit different from maybe your average speeder in a certain way. I like that the front is so long and so cylindrical. It almost feels like you've got jet propulsors going towards the nose, but in fact it's just kind of a fun, smooth build. The character seems to fit the bike very well, which is always a fun part of composition, I think. And anyways, speeder bikes are a lot of fun because it often stems from a cool, interesting seed mechanical sub-assembly and then making a fun body to fit around it. Just a really great way way to do some quick snapping together. I like this one a lot. And then speaking of quick snap, that actually was an unintentional segue. We have from Jarek, yes, the same Jarek who builds all of the awesome Star Wars ships and claptraps and all the stuff that you can find in the web store. He did this funny little build, didn't know he was working on it, and it's a really effective mousetrap. Mechanically, I feel like a lot of it really is the same. There's a tension system on the inside of the trap, which gives the spring to that little thing in the middle that flips. But other than that, yeah, everything works like how a normal mousetrap would work. I don't see him sticking his finger into the trap itself, so you don't really know how painful it is. And by the way, the title of this piece is It's a Trap. So good on you, Jarek, for the Star Wars reference. And now I suppose you're gonna make some mice to go along with it, maybe with detachable heads. Okay, let's move on. From Marcin Otreba, hope I'm saying that right, we have Targa Roth. I hope I'm saying that right. It's one of the several Balrogs from the Middle-earth J.R.R. Tolkien's universe. And I gotta say, it might look cooler than the one that faces off against Gandalf. The legs have some wonderful shape there. I like how the shins kind of spike out by the knees. All the bricks fit together in a really smooth way. And also the open flaming chest with spikes everywhere isn't such a bad touch either for a giant demon. Probably though, my favorite bit of detailing is the build for the head. I like that it's so big and it kind of flows into the body. It's a really classic monster look and it works super well here. If you want to see other amazingly built fantasy creatures, I highly recommend check out those links in the description below. And we are moving on into the top 3 from the builder Lukas Libususki. We have a modern library. It's built, I think, to the same proportions of what you normally see for a creator expert modular building, this one being a corner piece, but the design modern is really, I mean, modern to say the least. This is such a different looking building and it just fits so wonderfully. We've got a metal riveted roof, I'm going to assume, several staggered slats that move along a glass frame underneath, and awesome brick built letters that spell out library too. Very small yet nicely stylized, and I think the cherry on top for sure though is the operating glass elevator behind the glass windows. That certainly gives it more modern points, and even the light post on the outside isn't your classic gas lamp, which is usually included in these types of builds. It comes apart in a kind of strange way as well. I think that's to make the mechanical mechanism sort of work on the inside, and this is truly a unique modular building that I would love to see more of. Now moving down from Nick Sweetman, we've got a build, what I would say is the inevitable one. I just like the little display that's beneath it. You can see a Game Boy. I think that's an alien invader. And then I don't know who the guy in the top hat is. Mr. Game & Watch? That's just a guess. Somebody tell me. But really, it's the upper part of the build, the cherry on top, no pun intended. We've got our brand new collectible gamer minifigure who's living a lifestyle that doesn't surprise me and probably not anybody watching this. Now that printed piece at the top I thought was supposed to be just kind of a large box that actually contained a computer game, but I kind of like it as this upscaled poster as well. This is the first custom build with this fig. I'm gonna assume there's gonna be plenty more in the future to come. And then I've got another idea set right here at the end. This is from the designer Brick Project 7540. We've got Ratatouille, Open the Doors. So this was a really fun Pixar movie. Lots of licensed things are getting picked up this time of year, or I guess just in general now from ideas. And what I like about this is that it isn't just sort of a vignette like something you'd see from Big Bang or Friends or something like that. Instead, you've got an interior, which is the kitchen where so much of the movie takes place, and a wonderful, beautiful looking exterior where you could really flip this around whenever you feel like, and I think very much appreciate having the ability to display from both sides. So that's kind of why I think this is worth supporting more so maybe than many of the other show-themed or movie-themed builds. And taking a closer look, there's just a bunch of wonderful details that in general I think people would like to have as a set. You don't even necessarily have to love the movie, which, not gonna lie, this peppers my opinion. I really do like this one. And once again, this ideas project is linked in the description below. But that is going to be it for this episode, everybody. Remember, if you enjoy our content, you can always like or subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time at BrickVault. Hey everybody, wanted to pop in really quick, let you guys know that we've got a LEGO web store, www.brickvault.toys, where we sell the PDF step-by-step instructions for some incredibly awesome Lego MOCs. It's definitely worth checking out. The revenue from the web store helps support us here at the channel, as well as the designers that create these amazing Lego builds. So anyways, thanks a lot for watching. Remember, that's www.brickvault.toys, and we'll see you next time at BrickVault.